Did you touch my drum set?
There's a chip on my drumstick. The left one. I will quote Step Brothers all day long. I'm in a band called Prestige Worldwide. I can quote Step Brothers.
Why are you sweating?
Long. Just watching Cops.
You're a liar. Cops doesn't come on till 4.
Ready for a hot take?
I'm gonna stab you in the neck with a knife. Right, yeah, sorry.
AJ McCarron starts week 1. Right? AJ McCarron starts week 1. Let's hear me out. Hear me out.
No, wait, but no.
You're giving me the finger foot this time. You're gonna hurt somebody with that.
Insert clip here. I mean, if they go with Allen, scale of 1 to 10, how worried would you be?
McCarron's starting, so it won't matter. Allen will not beat out McCarron. So I'm sticking my guns. I'm a man of principle. AJ McCarron starts week 1.
Almost to a fault.
Yeah. Well,
I think everyone has him penciled in as starting week 1.
Yeah, but
so this is more of like a lukewarm take.
But here's where it gets me, right?
Okay.
So everybody knows about Nate Peterman's start last year, right?
Who?
You remember that game?
Yes, I do.
So, does Nate Peterman's, we'll call it failure as a starting quarterback,
I know where you're going,
hinder Josh Allen's opportunity to get into the game? Because the record was clearly thrown out. McDermott did not care about the record at that time, right, by starting Peterman.
Mm-hmm.
Said, we have a problem, we're going to try and fix the problem, right? That's what he tried to do. We have a problem.
We have a problem.
So but here's where I feel about this a little bit different. I think that threw up a lot of red flags because Peterman's issue wasn't necessarily throwing the ball to the other team. Peterman's issue was the fact that he was trying to process things at a level that he couldn't visually process at. Okay. The speed of the game, he was lost in, right?
Yes.
He was making his reads quick, right? But the problem is, ever read a book real fast? How much of that book do you remember? Right?
You're going on the assumption that I read.
Yes, I am going on the assumption that you
read. Yeah, I understand what you're talking about.
But my point is that, given the long-term goals with Allen, putting him in week 4 makes no sense. Unless McCarron is just a total tire fire, right? McCarron is going to read the field better than Allen will to start the season. There's very little concerns about that. I think a lot of people would agree that is most likely that McCarron's going to be able to read a play as it breaks down better than Josh Allen.
All right.
Does he have the physical tools? Absolutely not. Right? It just doesn't have the tools that Josh Allen has. That's not even comparable.
No.
However, my concern here is that the Peterman start is going to be a problem for Josh Allen.
You think that it's the ghost of Christmas past will creep up on McDermott and say, "No, I'm not doing that again."
Oh, that's not a ghost. That's the monster that lives under your bed. That's not the ghost. Because remember, this is a top 10 draft pick. It's the highest pick the Bills have ever made at the quarterback position, and that first start could.
You think they're going to protect him?
I think they're going to protect him. Yeah,
okay.
This isn't just a 5th-round quarterback.
I don't see that as being a problem. If you went back to historically, guys don't come out of the gates firing. Like, there's very rare guys that come out like Ben Roethlisberger going 15-1 his first year.
Right.
They mostly come out, and then there's some guys that don't come out as Troy Aikman, 1-15. You know, there's always in the middle somewhere. You're talking about the confidence of this kid being one of the utmost important things that you need to protect as a coach and as a protecting your investment, basically. Mm-hmm. So I think that may have a bearing on it, but you're talking about a guy who was drafted in the 5th round versus a guy who was drafted in the like traded up into the top 10 to get him.
Right.
So there's going to be a different set of rules for him than there were for Peterman. I think the Peterman start wasn't something that was done completely because they thought Peterman was ready. I think it was just a message to Tyrod. I think that's my own personal take. That's me putting my tin hat on and doing all this other crazy stuff. But my point is this. Could it influence it? Yes. I think they've already made the decision that week 11 is going to determine whether what do they do with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Okay. Week 11 bye.
The bye week is in a perfect spot for the Bills to be able to pull the ripcord on whatever they're doing. It really is, because you got all the rest are divisional games.
If you're in camp and McCarron, in your eyes, McCarron and Allen are on the same level, who do you start?
You start McCarron.
I got to ask you why.
Because McDermott has shown preference to veterans.
You think he's of the Bruce Arians mold in that respect?
I mean, compared to a rookie quarterback, yeah. I mean, I think Allen would legitimately have to beat McCarron in order to win that job. Because, again, the bye week comes in at week 11. The bye week is a perfect time that if things aren't going as well as you would like, right, you see some problems, you've given McCarron the opportunity to address and fix them. If things aren't rolling the way that you need to, then week 11 comes a time where you can pull that string and pull it back. But I think if McCarron and Allen are even, I mean, McDermott last season signed a bunch of veteran free agents and started them all. It's in the brief history that we have on McDermott.
That's different.
I get it, but in the brief history that we have with McDermott, he's shown preference to veterans. Milano outplayed Ramon Humber on every snap, yet it took Milano to week 10 to really get any playing time?
Well, yeah, he could have been. It could have. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I have to disagree with you on that fact because if they're even, you go with Allen. You try to get him as much experience. He's not going to have experience holding a clipboard. You're not going to gain experience. But so if you're even in that respect, but I think, like I said before, though, I think they already made the decision that McCarron's going to start. This is going into camp. Obviously, things could change. Going into camp, McCarron's going to start. Week 11 is going to be there determining whether or not what's going on. If they're at 500, I think that's going to be the biggest question mark. Mm-hmm. Okay, because if they're at 4-6,
McCarron's done.
But if they're at 4-6 and 2-0 in the division, that's a different story. If their only 2 wins are against the Jets and against the Patriots, or 2 of their 4 wins are against the Jets and the Patriots, then you have to reevaluate as well. You have to. You have to say, okay, McCarron started, we're 4-6, we've had some, obviously how those games play out. If they're, if a game that they lose is a pick 6 when they're going in to score to win the game, obviously you would do something like that. But if they're 2-0 in the division, they may reevaluate that as well. Say, listen, we're still in a good spot in our division.
Yeah, we dropped week 1 to the Ravens.
Yeah.
I feel so dirty if we lose that game. Forever unclean. AJ McCarron, forever unclean. Don't lose to the Ravens.
Which is a very interesting point, though, because you think about what happened in the draft, and then maybe this is a discussion for another point. The only spot that they filled was Incognito who left. Mm-hmm. You talk about signing veterans, Newhouse, and Bodine. They didn't sign any tackles, or draft any tackles, or draft any centers. So what is their mindset with those 2 guys?
I don't know. They clearly think they've got the problem solved.
Dino Dawkins left tackle.
I know.
Put another quarter in the merry-go-round.
He's not Cyrus Quanjo.
No, he can move. Yeah. Quanjo can't.
No.
But my point being is this: am I on the Allen train now?
You sound like you're on the Allen train.
I'm just saying, if there's any kind of indication where they're equal, you start the Rook, because McCarron has been proven to be a backup and a formidable backup, and I'll probably get some heat on that.
So
I just think he is.
So what you're telling me, and let me just understand, because McDermott just seems too calculated for that, right? So you start the rookie, let's say 3 games go Geno Smith-esque, and then you pull him? Is that what you're going to do?
No. You let him learn.
Okay, so let's say you're 1-7 going into week 9.
Keep playing him. No, you don't
keep playing him.
No, you keep playing him.
That is a horrible idea.
How's he playing, though? Are we talking
Geno Smith?
Are we talking 5 for 25 with 3 picks?
I'm saying he is Geno Smith.
He's lost
everywhere.
Then you shouldn't have started him in the first place. Then, what I'm saying is,
but that's the point.
I'm saying that's the point. I'm telling you that they're even. So you're telling me that McCarron will play just as good as Allen? You're not going to start Allen?
No, because in training camp, right? Training camp is not a true indication of how these guys are. So you're telling me that Allen and McCarron are going to be on the same level from being able to study film, understand route concepts, understand defenses. You're crazy. You're crazy.
I'm just saying if that's a thing where they're even, you as an evaluator, you as a coach, you as a team say that Allen and McCarron are on the same level. Right? We think that they're even. Mm-hmm. We can't pick. Because if you have 2, you have none.
So what you do is, if that's really your theory, right? If they're even, then you start McCarron, and what you do is you slowly rip away his practice reps with the ones. You could compromise McCarron if you want to. I mean, as a coach, if you say Allen's our guy, that's fine. Let's say they take 60 snaps with the first team. McCarron takes all 60 the first 4 weeks, and then it's, hey Josh, go and take 10. AJ, go down for 10. And then it's, all right, Josh, take 10 more on top of that. You could slowly rip away those reps with the one until those 60 reps become 40 in favor of Allen, but you're still starting McCarron. All that is totally feasible.
So you're telling me that... What you're telling me is that you have 60 snaps, they go 2-0, you take away 10 snaps, they lose a game, you take away 10 more snaps, they lose another game. Like, what is coach doing? We need these reps.
You're getting Allen ready. That's what you're doing. You got one bullet in the gun to get
the
that
winning,
kid
the
right.
winning and losing means nothing then.
No, it doesn't mean anything.
Okay, so we're 1-7. Why wouldn't you keep playing Allen?
Because if he's Geno Smith, then it's pretty apparent that just starting him over and over again is not going to work.
We stop with Geno Smith.
No, I'm just saying, if there is an example of a quarterback who should never have started a game in the NFL, it's Geno Smith. Did nobody watch the Pinstripe Bowl?
I don't know.
Ryan Nassib versus Geno Smith. They completed more passes to the turf than they did to receivers. It was embarrassing. It was terrible.
More passes that hit snowbanks than hit wide receivers.
It was awful. But my point is that
you're taking a very big extreme though with Geno. Like, can you get a comparable guy that actually has an arm? Like, what do you want to compare him to? Oh, this is like Fitzpatrick and Dan Marino. Like, those are the 2 guys we're comparing with McCarron and Allen.
All right, so you want a better comparable. So a big arm quarterback.
Okay.
This is a big arm quarterback.
Don't just name anybody. Now, you know that this conversation can take a very left turn if you name a big arm quarterback who I think you're going to name.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to say Tyler Bray. Who has yet to start a game.
He's unproven. He's very unproven.
He's yet to start a game. But no, the fact is that if you get one shot to get this right, okay? And I think Bills fans are split on this, right? Some guys are going to say you throw him in the fire, you let him learn, it's the only way you're going to learn. And I understand that school of thought. There's other people that say because of where he's coming from, you need to develop him and build up his level of understanding so that way he can learn from what he's out there, right? My school of thought is that Allen's not going to get the lesson unless he knows what's supposed to be being taught, right? And you just throw him out there, he's going to get the hell knocked out of him and not understand the lesson that's being taught to him. Things are going to be moving too fast, right? It's like learning to drive a car that only goes 100 miles an hour, right? What's the problem going to be? Well, the problem's going to be a lot of things. You can go straight just fine, but God forbid something get in your way. God forbid you have to turn. God forbid you have to make adjustments, right? And that's what McCarron's going to be able to do. And through practice, you can work those out if you're giving him reps with the ones, because the ones don't go light. The ones go heavy. So you can simulate as much as you can without truly exposing Allen to learning things that he doesn't understand. The last thing you want is for a lesson for Josh Allen to go sideways, because that's going to compromise his development. That's what it's about. You drafted this guy 7th overall because he's the long-term answer. You start McCarron, you see how quickly you can develop Allen. If you look at it and see, listen, this kid's not developing the way that we want him to, maybe then you say, well, he's got to go in the fire then. But I think it's so much more about how he can pick up what is being taught versus what his physical tools are, where they are with McCarron. I don't think that matters. I think it's about, will he understand what's happening and why it's not going right? If that answer is no, then you do not start him.
Listen, I could tell you till I'm blue in the face of things that happen when you're in the pocket. But unless you're in the pocket, you're not going to learn those things. You're saying that it's going to be too fast for him, but yet, if he's not developing the way that he should develop, you start him? Like, I don't understand what your logic is.
If you're in week 10, right, and Allen is still
behind, you start him?
I mean, if you're of the school of thought that Allen should be the week 1 starter, then you should be agreeing with me now.
No, I can understand the two schools of thought that you're trying to lay out. You're trying to say, okay, throw him in the fire, but if he's not ready to be thrown in the fire, you don't throw him in there because you're protecting your investment. You start McCarron. Okay, your view, as we talked about earlier, with being objective, is kind of skewed right now. Okay, I don't like Allen, but I have to defend him right now. Apparently, you love McCarron, and you love the potential.
Yeah.
What potential?
Yeah.
You love the potential of what this guy could do because he's been in the NFL. He knows protections. He knows reads. He's called this. He has his center brought over from Cincinnati. Okay, there's that little bit of the Alabama connection. All this stuff is laid out nicely. The table is beautifully laid out for AJ McCarron to start, which is why Allen will have to work double time to try to overcome that.
Right.
All right?
Yeah.
Now, the thing, all I've said from the beginning is if they're equal, if you think that they're on the same plane, regardless of what the record is, regardless. And I know you said they could hurt the kid's confidence, but it's not like this kid has never played quarterback before or never seen a fast pass rush or never seen all this stuff. True. He played at Wyoming. He's going to have different animals in front of him now. I understand that. However, if there's any indication where these guys are equal, you put Allen in and you let him learn. Because I could tell him that read may come a little late on the right-hand side if he drops I could tell him that. He could see that on tape. But unless he throws that pass and goes, all right, maybe I got to take a little bit off of that one, he's not going to know. He's really not going to know. You have to stop this. This McCarron nonsense is getting out of control.
And here's where a lot of my theory on the development of Josh Allen comes from. This is going to sound very strange. It's the underdevelopment of Paxton Lynch.
Continue.
So Paxton Lynch gets drafted 1st round quarterback, right?
Yes.
Did he start?
Nope.
What'd they do? Just let him hold the clipboard, they let him practice, but what didn't he get? 1st team reps.
Nope.
Never got 1st team reps.
Not with
practice.
Peyton, ever. No,
Right,
you're never going to get first
Never
team
got 1st team reps, right?
Yes.
Peyton leaves.
Okay.
What happens? He gets outplayed by a 7th round quarterback.
So, because he didn't get any 1st team reps, you're saying that...
I'm saying 1st team, if he had gotten any actual practice his rookie season, like real practice time, not 2nd team practice reps, like 1st team practice reps, where you're talking about advanced concepts, read routes, you're talking about the stuff that you expect from NFL players, then the Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian quarterback controversy would have been more slanted towards Lynch's way. I mean, fact was that Lynch should have beat out Siemian. That's what should have happened. Lynch should have beat him out if it's just based off of draft stock.
So you're saying not getting 1st team reps hurt his confidence?
Not getting 1st team reps in practice disrupted his development. Yes. That's why I said, if you really want to start Allen, go ahead and give him practice reps, but give him practice reps with the ones. You don't have to start him in an NFL game. You don't have to do that. You could simulate a lot of what you need out of him in practice, but it's got to be with the 1st team. So we get 2nd team reps, this kid's not starting.
Dude, the days of the Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, the backup sitting for 3 years is over.
Tell me how that didn't work out.
It's over. But it's over because the first team guy is going to want first team reps.
Yeah.
Favre hated taking reps.
Yeah.
So
Favre
Rodgers had all the first team reps.
Yep.
But that's not going to happen anymore.
Why not?
Because Favre, at that point in his career, was like in his 16th, 15th year. What else was he going to learn? All right, tell me what they do. Tell me what they do this. All right, let the kid run some reps. Okay, McCarron's not in his 15th year.
You can sum up Brett Favre with one story. When he went to Ty Detmer, years later, he's like, hey, dude, what's the difference between nickel and dime? Oh, they take out a linebacker, put in a safety. That's it? Yeah, that's it. Who cares?
That's what he said, yeah.
Who cares?
Quite fitting from a guy who's leading the NFL in interceptions in his career.
Right, but
the thing was, that doesn't happen anymore.
Why not?
Because it just doesn't. You don't have a 15-year NFL vet who's a 3-time MVP who knows the game already. He knows what to do. He knows the answers to the test, and he wants the rook to take he doesn't want to take reps in practice anymore. All right, I'm done. I got to preserve my body for this week coming up. Now,
But what you can extrapolate from that circumstance is that when Rodgers did get on the field, right, he understood where he was making his mistakes and could make adjustments. Not because he's just a student of the game, because Rodgers is truthfully a student of the game.
He's one of the most athletic with the best arm in the NFL.
He lives and breathes football. Everything in his life is football, unless he's doing a commercial about insurance.
Or breaking up with Olivia Munn.
Yep.
Go ahead. I interrupted.
You did. You're still salty about that a little bit.
Why would I be salty? I wasn't dating her.
That's true.
If she came to my house and she was done, it would have been different.
So, the point remains, right, that becomes the gold standard for how to develop a quarterback, right? And I understand that it's not logical to draft a guy in the first round, sit him for 3 years. I get that doesn't make a lot of sense, right?
Yes.
But the point is that when Rodgers got on the field, what was happening around him, he saw.
Yeah.
And he could understand. If you just throw Allen out there day one to start, that leads to more disaster than it does success. I mean, you can say, well, Peyton started day one. Insert name of quarterback started day one. Sure.
I hate when people compare people to Peyton. Or
yeah, I get it. Yeah, but you can make that comparison to anybody. You can say, oh, well, Leaf started day one too. Right?
Yeah. But like Peyton, the amount of studying that this guy does is like known around the world.
Sure. But you go in and you look at quarterbacks who started, rookie quarterbacks drafted starting day one. I know the quarterback position is a bombshell, right? Because it's success or failure. That's it, right? That's all. It's you're good or you're not. That's it. There's no you were okay. You were successful at this position. You were not when it comes to the quarterback position. I get that, but I'm looking at the long game with Allen, and I think the Bills are looking at the long game too. McDermott knows he's not in trouble this year. McDermott was in trouble this year. Then the quarterback conversation becomes a little bit different. He's not in trouble. Bean's not in trouble. This is the perfect opportunity to draft somebody and not play him. You don't have to play him. Their jobs aren't in trouble. But you see so many organizations do that. It's because the GM's on the hot seat or the coach is about to get fired. They end up drafting a quarterback and it buys them another year or two. Right? That's what Fisher did.
Sid Edmonds too. He's young. He's younger than Allen. I don't want him ruined either.
Yeah. Playing on weak side, so he only has to mind one side of the field. If you could start Allen and have him only throw to one side of the field and be fine, okay.
Well, he only reads the right side.
Right, but we've done that already. We had Tyrod. We've already played this game. So why? I don't want to sign back up for that. I want Allen to be successful. Not because I believe Allen was the best quarterback in the draft. Certainly don't. I want Allen to be successful because it's what the Bills expect from him. The Bills are hoping that he's the answer. I hope that he's the answer too. But with that in mind, I don't want to compromise him, right? And if starting in week one is viewed in any way as compromising his development, I don't want to have anything. I don't want to have any part of that.
See, I don't know why. In my head, that theory is like your kid's born and you lock him in the house until he's 18. You're not going out. I'm going to protect you.
Well, yeah,
until you're out. And then they go outside and like, what the?
Yeah, but you give him a ball and let him throw it against the wall of the basement. Maybe he...
And then he becomes Hannibal Lecter. Like, what the... He's going to eat this team up.
Yeah. I get why the caged animal inside of you says you can only get better by playing. I get that. I understand.
The caged. I hate you.
Yeah, the caged animal inside of you. I get that.
We're not friends anymore.
We are friends.
Okay.
Don't throwing me out yet.
I'll at least slow down to 20.
Tuck and roll, Grandma. Tuck and roll. The Allen conversation is so polarizing because there's two very different schools of thought, right?
Yeah.
And
I get. I believe me. I get your point to a T. Mm-hmm. I understand that. You want to protect your investment, bring him along slowly, start McCarron, regardless of record, regardless of how the team performs this year. Getting into the playoffs last year bought you time. Bought you, because you're not carrying that burden with you now going forward. You can develop your program, you can develop your team, you can do all this other stuff. If you trade up for a guy that you knew you were going to need an extra pick for, and all these other picks, second rounders, third rounders, whatever they did, this was your guy. You're going to be linked to this guy. You want to protect him. You want to make sure that he's ready when he goes out on that field. And I'm saying, though, is that the only way that you're going to find out if that kid's ready is to put him out there.
You're only tied to McCarron for 2 years. You're tied to Allen for 5.
We said this,
but whose reputation? Where's Bean's reputation tied?
It's going to be on Allen.
It's on Allen. It's not on. It's not on McCarron.
It's not going to be on McCarron.
Even if McCarron goes out and balls out, right, for 2 years,
you could say he's an eye for talent.
Yeah,
you know,
it looks good for Bean, right? But the truth is that Bean's whole reputation lies on Allen. And if Allen doesn't develop in 2 years and you have McCarron, you could say, listen, you know, we drafted Allen. We weren't 100% positive on him. We got AJ because we knew what we were getting with AJ. And that worked out for us, and we're happy about that. Right? You're done. This is a win-win. It really is a win-win for Bean right now. But starting Allen, I think, compromises the signing of McCarron a bit. Right? But
where does Allen perform best? When the deck is stacked. When the deck is stacked against him. You bring in you sign a quarterback to an incentive-based deal, and you bring in his center.
Yep.
Like you had Groy. You did a second-round tender for a reason on Groy.
Like he's probably going to play guard.
Yeah, but now he's going to What I'm saying is, okay, you have a center come in, you have the Bama connection, you have all this stuff stacked against Allen, which is where he performs the best. When you doubt him, when you say, listen, we're not sure about you. We'll give you one scholarship to Wyoming. All right, okay. That's where this kid's mindset performs. That's where he performs the best. So if you can give it that image that you're stacking the deck against him, why can't I say that right now? He's going to perform light years ahead of where you want him.
It's because your brain is saying, start AJ McCarron.
My brain would never say that.
Yeah.
My brain would say, it's a tech review. It's a tech. Woo-hoo.